Okay, this is Albert Grande from pizzatherapy.com, legendsofpizza.com/blog. I'm with one of my favorite pizzaiolos. That's Pizza Master John F. How are you doing today, John?
I'm doing great, Albert. Thank you. We're getting ready to do a couple of pies this evening, and the first is kind of like a margarita, only it's not no fresh mozzarella, no fresh basil really, but it's basically mozzarella and tomato, and I use Romano cheese on top rather than Parmesan. So I'm getting my breadboard ready here. Like to put a little bit of flour on the old bench or breadboard, and then you get your dough. This is of course cold fermented overnight. I did this actually yesterday morning, but you see it's cold, it's a little stiff, but it's going to warm up in this warm kitchen.
Tell me, what does that mean, John, the cold ferment?
Sure, it means, absolutely. It means when you put the flour and the water and the yeast together, you don't use any warm water. You use cold water, and you just mix it. I use it right there. I mix it in my Kitchenaid, the flour and the water, a little bit of salt, and the instant yeast, and then you put it in the refrigerator and let it go for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours, really. And it rises nice and slowly, and you use only a little bit of yeast, so you don't get a heavy yeast flavor. You get more of the flavor of the flours, which is, I think, what most good pizza makers want to get. And you notice my dough is a little brown. That's because I use whole wheat flour and regular white flour. And I just like a little of the nuttiness flavor of the whole wheat. So I work it out with my hands a little bit, and I know it's very controversial. A lot of people don't believe in rolling, but I just have found over the years it's easier for me to do. I get it into a shape that I like. Again, depending how the dough is feeling, sometimes I toss it if it's not stretching out well enough. This one's stretching pretty good though, because it is a warm summer day, even though it's a little dark out because of the cloudiness. So I'm liking the way that looks. And then I go around and put little fingerprints, little wells along the side to catch any olive oil or anything that might spread. Check my, see, that's going to fill up the peel. So we got to get a little flour on the peel. And ideally you use as little flour as possible on the peel, because as we learned, we talked to that guy from La Strada the last time, the more flour you put in the bottom of the flour on the peel and on your bench, really, the more the dough picks up, and that kind of insulates the pizza dough from the heat in the oven. But alas, I have found that I use quite a bit of flour because I want it to slide off the peel. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to pick it up just to test it. Feels pretty good. I don't think I need to toss this really. It's big enough. Feels pretty pliable. Put it on the peel. And again, as our friend from La Strada said, you don't want to spend a lot of time here. You want to keep moving so it doesn't stick to the peel. So what I do, again, the reverse of what most people do, I put the mozzarella on first. And my rationale for that is it helps create a barrier between the tomatoes and the dough, and helps the dough to cook more evenly from the bottom throughout the top without a wet layer of tomato sauce, for example, making the dough kind of soggy on top. And this is just, regular shredded dry mozzarella.
Low moisture mozzarella.
Yeah, I use a low moisture, low skim. I'm not really, that's just what I do, but certainly you could use regular whole milk mozzarella. I've done it when I can't get this stuff. And I don't, that's about it for me in terms of the cheese. I don't want to get too heavy. Just want to cover up all the spaces there. work it out to the edge a little bit. Always good to get a little cheese in the edge. See, and then we'll test that to make sure it's not sticking, and it is a little bit. See that? There we go. It broke loose. So there we go. That's looking good. So now put a little tomato sauce. I just use canned tomatoes, unsalted, from the local supermarket. And what I do is basically spread it over the top of the cheese like this. Again, not a whole lot of sauce, but enough to cover. You'll see. You just kind of use a spatula to move it from the center to the edges, like that. And as it cooks, it'll push itself out to the edge. So I don't go right to the edge. I leave about, what does that look like? Half inch, maybe inch. So you can see it's a pretty dry pizza, but it cooks up nicely. And then next, we're going to check again to make sure it's not sticking. Yeah, see, that sauce made it heavy, so now it's still breaking free. Next to last, this is Pecorino Romano cheese. I like the saltiness of the cheese. I think it really, because the tomatoes are unsalted, the saltiness of the cheese helps bring up the tomato flavor. And it feels like I've got a hard end in here that's giving me a problem here. So let me just change that little piece there. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. And then I just go around, try to get some on the edges. And you want it to get pretty snowy white, because there's not, you'll notice I've put no oregano, no basil, no salt, no pepper. This is all about the taste of the flour, the little creaminess of the mozzarella, and the nice sharp picante flavor of the Romano. We'll give this piece one more chance here to do its job. There we go. And I said that was the next to last ingredient, because last but not least, we finish with a little extra virgin olive oil. And the trick here is you got to go slow. I like some to get some on the edge, but I don't want it to run off too far and then run into the oven and make a lot of smoke. And then I just do a little spiral there, like that. That looks good, and you're done. Now it's onto the pizza stone, which has been in the oven for a full hour at 550 degrees. We'll test shake, and you'll see that it's going to go right into the oven pretty easily, about a 20-degree angle. Just shake it, and there you have it. Boom, we're done. Timer, 7 minutes. It's ready. We're ready to take the pie out very quickly, because I'm going to cook a second pie after this, so I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. Here we go. Blistering little beauty there. Slide right out onto the peel. Look at that baby. You can see how it looked dry when we made it, but see how juicy it gets when the tomatoes and the cheeses all interact and everything expands. A nice brown on the side. It's covered up, but there are nice little bubbles all along the crust. And I usually let this sit for a full 5 minutes before serving. It's just too hot. And it gives you time to do things like I'm going to do next, dress a nice little salad to go with this. So there we go, part one, pizza night.